As an introduction, I want you to listen to Alice Walker, a Black American, in a 60 minutes interview. When you listen to her, it may be important to pretend every time she says America that she said Nigeria, and that every time she says Black America that she's saying Igbos. It's food for thought. Listen to what she said, because it will be a good lead-in to my discussion about Igbos and Nigeria in general, and lately, Yorubas in particular.
Tonight I think of my home, the home where I was born. I think of my family and the poor farmhouse we had.
Are you happy with America today?
I'm happy with myself, but of course I'm not happy with America today. America is afraid of itself. It is totally afraid of its own history. It has never dealt with it successfully. It really thinks it's something that it isn't. For instance, we think we're a democracy.
We do.
Yeah,
I do.
You do, don't you?
I
But
do.
that's because you're a white man. It's a democracy for you. It is not a democracy for black people. This is not a democracy that when you come up against a system that has crushed you for generations, the system that then puts you in prison, this is not a democracy. The lie of the country is that, somehow this is a democracy after you have killed off the people who were here originally, and enslaved the rest of us.
Sometimes it takes a very drastic, sweeping statement to capture the attention of people and send your message home. In a country that's very delicately walking the balance of tribal sentiments and trying to soothe people's egos, it calls for somebody to be bold enough to call a spade a spade. And before I do that, let me make it clear that I understand that there are Rufai Osenis, Yemi Ademolekuns, Maya Guns, Adeola Fayehuns, and so many Yorubas across different age brackets. We just lost Pa Adebanjo. He falls into that category I'm talking about. There are a lot of Yorubas that are very open-minded. Igbos better wake up and know that this is no longer a Fulani thing. Under the Bola Ahmed Tinubu and behind the scenes being worked by Bayo Ononuga and Dele Alake and their likes, these people are determined to do everything it takes to take the wind out of the Igbo wings in Nigeria, which is impossible. And for Igbos who like to sit around and be politically correct, it's time to pick who your friends are. Stop being stupid. Hello, everybody. Once again, this is Fred Wanko coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on LNTV. And as usual, I like to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you, depending on where you are around the world. Before I get deep into this sensitive discussion, let me play you the BS, the nonsense that the man in charge of JAMB said about the glitch with his crocodile tears. And if Igbos believe those tears, I feel sorry for us. He sounds like a poster child for the tribalistic ones you see running around in Lagos. Listen to him.
Despite being able to identify the source of the problem and the affected centers, we are conscious of the painful damage it has inflicted on the reputation of JAMB. As registrar of JAMB, I hold myself personally responsible including for the negligence of the service provider and I unreservedly apologize for it.
Nonsense. He holds himself unreservedly responsible. Nonsense. Nonsense. This was not his idea. This was an idea from the above, and an idea that is concocted by the Bayononugas and the Dele Alakes of Nigeria. There are very intelligent Yorubas in Nigeria who can compete. But the Bayononugas and the Dele Alakes are the ones whose only claim to power in Nigeria is crooked, because they cannot compete on a level playing ground with the average Igbo person. And the only way they can be part of the game is to try and subdue the Igbos by any means. And Tinubu is behind it. Which brings me to the next thing: the shameful collaboration of Igbo leaders with Tinubu. It is shameful. In 1967, Igbos did the right thing and fought a war to liberate Nigeria, not to liberate Biafra. But Nigerians and Yorubas fought against Igbos, fought with the enemy, their own enemy too, against Igbos. And today, look what the Fulanis are doing to the Yorubas. Look what the Fulanis are doing to the TVs. Look what the Fulanis are doing to the Benways. And let me go back to the TVs. The man who fought the war for Fulanis against Igbos is Yakubu Gowon. His own people cannot live in peace in Nigeria. And Nigerians still have not learned. And Yorubas still have not learned. Or maybe Yorubas know, but they don't have the voice to stand up to the worst Yoruba person that ever lived in Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. An elementary school dropout, a drug dealer, a certificate forger, is now the man who sits at the helm of Yoruba leadership, and developing policies to unfairly, unjustly subdue your fellow Nigerians, to subdue Igbos, and you sit back and pretend you don't see what's wrong with it. Let the Yoruba man who believes in justice and fairness stand up and be counted. And I'm counting on you to stand up and be counted. And stop dancing to the tune of a man who cannot tie your shoes on a level playing field, but you worship the money he stole and got from drug dealing. Yoruba Eronu. Now it's time for me to get back into the sensitive issues. On a lot of issues, I have a lot of respect for Chief Obafemi Awolowo. But I'll be remiss if I don't say that, in my own opinion, the tribalistic tendencies of Yorubas today was cultivated by Chief Obafemi Awolowo. He introduced this sentiment of tribalism that many years after his death, some dubious people within the Yoruba tribe like Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Bayo Ononuga have twisted the intentions of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, and the result is that they are poisoning what it takes to have a united country in Nigeria. And their main target in that poisoning are the Igbos of southeastern Nigeria. That's a sweeping statement. So let me get into my facts. And before you get upset at me, sleep over what I'm saying and think about it. In 1967, we had a civil war. With all the lies that have been told for decades after the Civil War, in the last few years, the truth has come out. It was not an Igbo coup in 1966. Igbos did not start the war. Igbos fought a war in self-defense against the genocide that the Fulanis had planned against the Igbos. That's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it, many Yorubas would like to distort the history, is that Ojukwu went into that war with the intention and the hope and the false sense of security that as soon as Igbos declared Biafra, that Chief Obafemi Awolowo and Yorubas would declare Oduduwa state. And when Awolowo came out of prison, the Fulanis, scared of what would be left if Igbos and Yorubas should leave, sweet-talked him, promised him all kinds of stuff that he couldn't refuse, and he decided not to declare Oduduwa state. But I'm willing to say that Chief Obafemi Awolowo's intention is not the tribalism that is now consuming many Yoruba people under the brainwash and intimidation of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his foot soldiers of Bayo Ononuga and Dele Alake. We saw what happened at JAMB. It's shameful. 379,997 Igbo students were failed in JAMB in an exam they dusted. JAMB said it was a glitch. A glitch? A glitch that only affected students from a certain tribe, and by some freak coincidence, the only states affected by that glitch were Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Imo. Do you see something wrong with that picture? And let's move it outside Igbo land. Isn't it very coincidental that that glitch also affected Lagos State? But the only place in Lagos State that it affected is Festac Village, where 90%, maybe I'm exaggerating, 75 to 80% of the population are, yes, you guessed it, Igbos. And that's a glitch. The same glitch that happened in 2023 when there was a national election in Nigeria and Peter Obi dusted the field. And when INEC saw that Peter Obi was not only winning the election, was winning it embarrassingly against the people destroying Nigeria, which is Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Fulanis, they stopped the electronics transmission of the election results. And again, you guessed it, they said it was a glitch. A glitch? And for Igbos who like to be politically correct, you better wake up. The problem of Igbos in Nigeria can no longer be fought with political correctness. It's time to fight fire for fire. It's time to fight Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his crooked cohorts, fire for fire. We must remember that violence It's not a one-sided tool. While they are being violent, the other side can be violent too. And there is a video by a Yoruba person that I'm going to play as an awakening for Igbo people to think about what his conspiracy theory is about what Tinubu has in the works for Igbos. And you already see him wrapping up the Igbo governors. Uzodinma in Imo State and Soludo in Anambra State are already in his pockets, and he has zipped them up. Alex Oti, who is doing an incredible job and wonderful job in Abia State, is not too far behind. Because when you listen to his statements, he says all the right things. But when it comes to Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his policies, Alex Oti gets into the political correctness that ultimately it's not going to be in the interest of Ndibo, but in the interest of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Hope Uzodinma. Then we have the guy in Ebonyi State, who we know it's in the pocket of former Governor Umahi, and we know where Umahi's sentiments are. Mba we are watching, but we see how he cozies up to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So if your 5 governors have been pocketed by your number one enemy, Igbos, I'll speak in Yoruba to you. Igbos, Eronu, Chenechi Chendibo, because these people are coming for you. They've started to put a knife to the things that hold you together, and you're gradually falling apart. And they're starting to use glitches in the system to deny you the things where you excel the most. Listen to this Yoruba man.
All right, guys, May the 5th, 2025. Real quick here, the man in the image is Agodis Christopher Okechukwu, arrested on the 10th of December 2024 at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos, and was arraigned yesterday, 4th of May 2025, on 2-count charge of money laundering. He was found to have not, according to the court, he failed to declare the 8,020 British pounds and $704 in his possession at the airport. And the judge that presided over the matter ruled as follows. Mr. Okechukwu was found guilty on 2-count charge of money laundering. If Mr. Okechukwu had been an Hausa or a Fulani person, or even Yoruba, would they have treated him this way? Would he have been treated this way? The question is no. He would not have been treated this way. Why do I say so? You see, let me tell you something. Until Nigeria begins to treat the Igbos equally as they treat other major ethnic groups, Nigeria will never make progress. Let me tell you one thing. You see, the problem behind the marginalization of the Igbos, the major problem are the Igbos political elite and elite businessmen. Leading into the 2023 presidential election, the likes of Imoni, Obi Kubana Chief Priest, Ato Eze, all these men supported Tinubu. But let me tell you, if I understand who Tinubu is very well, let him win the second tenure. Let him win in 2027. He's coming for all of you. All of you now, they don't already dig out the ones where put hand where no clean, the ones where doing money no clean, the ones where they go dig out different criminal things against you now. My name is K Baba. When the time comes, some of you need to save this video. Go on, I go talk, say I talk am.
Because una go talk, say I talk am. Atwalo omalo, atwalo ofeke, ofelo banyana ofia. Orabo. I'm talking to Igbos, but I'm giving you a proverb in Yoruba. Orabo. Non sofun omoluabi. Toba dinure. Adio dindi. Atwala omalo. What that young Yoruba man said is deep and it's food for thought. And he told you what Tinubu is going to do in 2027. And you go and look at Tinubu's antecedents. And based on those antecedents, tell me that that young man is wrong. Igbo must go. Forget who carried out the operation. It was cultivated in Tinubu's bedroom. This thing about WAEC, about JAMB, and failing 379,997 Igbos in an exam they swept and did extremely well, and they called it a glitch. And you really think Tinubu's hand and Bayo Onanuga's hand is not in it? That man that was crying crocodile tears, who is the head of JAMB, the way he sounds, it's a shame that a place, an academic body as important as JAMB, is headed by that kind of ignorant sounding man. What do you expect? He sounds actually better than Bola Ahmed Tinubu. These are the kind of people he wants in places to prepare the place where he wants to put Igbos. 2023, a glitch happened at INEC. Bola Ahmed Tinubu's hand was in it. A glitch didn't happen at the Supreme Court. Bribes happened. Bola Ahmed Tinubu's hand was in it. When discussions like these are had, egos are bruised. I know that I said sensitive things, but I didn't lie. I respect Chief Obafemi Awolowo for the goals he had for Western Nigeria. Free education, uniting the people, those are noble causes. But Chief Obafemi Awolowo and his Tiwa philosophy planted the seeds for ignorant Yoruba people like Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Bayo Onanuga to twist Tiwa in a way that it no longer represents what Chief Obafemi Awolowo wanted. It's now used as a tool of tribalism, where when your own person is not qualified, ṣùgbọ́n Tiwa. So he's our own person. Even if he's a drug dealer, that's the best thing for Nigeria. Even if he's responsible for a lot of atrocities in Lagos, that's the best thing for Nigeria. When he bribes the Supreme Court, that's the best thing for Nigeria. Tiwa, Tinubu, ṣùgbọ́n very shameful that the person that carries the flag of a great people called Yorubas is a drug kingpin that locks up the most important states in their region and controls it like it's his father's domain. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is Fred Nwankwo coming to you from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on Island TV. And until next time, good night and God bless.
Tonight I think of my home, the home where I was born. I think of my family and the poor farmhouse we had. There in my home, we had no sophistication. We had no timepiece. the monkeys away from the maize farms and the birds away from the rice farms.